Hi everybody, I'm here professionally with myself YA, and today I'm going to be reading from Angelfire by Courtney Allison Moulton, and this is actually coming out today, and, um, yeah, I'm just going to be reading from, the beginning of chapter 2, and since this is just right in the beginning, there's really not much that you need to know about. So, I'm just gonna go ahead and start reading. I was smoothing my hand over the wide claw marks that ran down the length of the metal door when I heard the roars from somewhere deep within the cavernous textile plant. The angry wail shook the dusty floor beneath my shoes in desolate echoes, announcing the Reaper's presence below. I conjured both my swords out of thin air and stepped silently through the door and into the darkened hall. The air smelled like smoke and brimstone, the unmistakable stench left behind by the demonic and the only thing that linked the mortal world to the grim. The floor was littered with yellowing paper, and nothing remained of the small industrial windows dotting the walls but jagged, broken glass. Sickly pale light from the street lamps lining the darkened streets outside streaked in through the shattered windows. Trash was piled up against the walls, which were covered with strips of peeling, decomposing paint. I stepped around everything, making no noise, but I knew the Reaper could feel me. My silence could not mask the energy rolling from me. Nothing could, and the Reaper was hungry for me. I stepped into the grim, passing through the smoky veil and into the world that most humans could not see. Here the Reapers dwelled. The remnants of the mortal plane tugged at my arms and clothes like viscous tendrils. A passing police cruiser lit up the ground floor of the factory like blood-red fireworks, the wail of its siren deafening me for a moment. I took a deep breath to regain my composure and stalked toward the closest emergency stairwell. I kicked the door open, and the heavy clunk of steel gave my position away. I held the hilts of both my silver sickle-shaped khopesh swords tightly as I peered over the edge of the metal railing down the shaft in the basement level, or to the basement level. A dark, massive shape flashed across the floor below. The Reaper roared again, making the stairwell shudder. I descended quickly, whipping my body around the steel spiral staircase at every turn, determined not to let him escape. My footsteps were light, barely brushing the floor beneath me. With one story to go, I jumped over the railing and landed safely with nothing more than a bend of my knees and a thud of my shoes. I kicked open the stairwell door and froze to peer carefully into the darkness. Unseen claws raked the concrete. He wanted me to know he was there. Behind me came a low, throaty rumble. I spun around and caught a glimpse of the Reaper, but he vanished deeper into the blackness. I clenched my teeth bitterly, and Angelfire erupted from my swords, readying for battle. The flames were the only thing that could truly kill the Reaper, and I was the only one that could wield them. They lit up the cavernous basement in white light, but the Reaper evaded the glow and stuck to the shadows. He was toying with me, luring me. I held the swords ready and followed him anyway. The Reaper's power was all around me now, washing over me like a flash flood of smoke from an extinguished flame, heavy, inky, merciless, and without warning. I wheeled around and slashed with both swords. The firelight illuminated the colossal, bear-like shape of the Reaper as he reared up, his front legs outstretched, waving paws the size of dinner plates. His eyes were black and empty like a shark's, and his Goliath jaws dropped to release a roar like an oncoming train straight into my face. I ducked into a roll as the Reaper swiped his foot-long claws at my head. I jumped to my feet and bounded backward. The Reaper heaved toward me and took only a half stride to reach me. He spread his mouth again, revealing a set of enormous teeth that could have belonged to a saber-toothed cat, each fang easily as long as my forearm. He reared over me, and his roar thundered once again through the factory. I dropped to my knees and slashed at the Reaper's chest and across his hind legs. He collapsed in a spray of blood, but righted himself quickly and leaped into the air, landing 30 feet away from me. His flesh sizzled where the silver blades had sliced and the fire had burned. He wheeled and charged. I stepped back onto my right heel and prepared for impact. Instead, the Reaper slipped to my left just before he would have collided with me, and he disappeared for a moment. Claws slashed down my back, shredding my body like hamburger meat. I screeched and fell forward. I shuddered and dropped my swords. The pain I expected never came. I felt nothing at all. The Reaper was distracted by my pooling blood for a moment as I lay unmoving. He paused to taste it and growled a guttural noise of approval, with his inhuman mouth before descending on me to finish the job. I couldn't finish my last breath before I died. I sat straight up with an enormous gasp of air, feeling as if the life had been taken right out of me. I reached around my back and felt smooth, undamaged skin there, and let out a sigh of relief. My nightmares were getting more and more real every time I slept, and I began to worry if I really needed to go back to therapy. I'm going to go ahead and just stop there. And I hope you guys enjoyed this excerpt, and if you did, you should go out and buy this book. It is out today, and if you also want, you can go out. The other book I'm featuring this week, Rival by Sarah Bennett Wheeler, is also out today, February 15th, and you could go pick them up together. You can have a paranormal read and a contemporary read. So, anyway, I will see you guys later this week and read from Rival. Bye.